Thanks, Madam Toastmaster. Ladies and gentlemen, you probably worked out this club runs itself. It just happens, and things come together, and it really does to a large extent. But we do need to have some people to take responsibility for the various functions that happen. And perhaps the best way to explain what happens in a Toastmasters club is to have a look at the way that new members are attracted to the club and then take on the learning process that comes through being a member of Toastmasters International. Firstly, we need a public relations officer to create an image of the club. And we were very lucky in the early stages of setting this club up that we had Rebecca working at the Rockhampton Bulletin. Unfortunately, Toastmasters was such a boon to her career that they promoted her, and she's now in charge of Rockhampton and Gladstone, so doesn't get to meetings anymore. So we don't actually have a public relations officer, but we have a public relations mentality. And as a result, Melanie is a regular guest on 4RO because they know that if they need somebody to fill in a little bit of talk radio, that if they give Melanie a ring, she will come up with a conversation that makes it interesting. So we've had a public relations ability as a result of Melanie going on air, but she's also picked up the skill of dealing with radio. A number of us have been on the ABC. The cameras from the TV station were here when we brought a speaker for a seminar that we conducted in March. So we have used the public relations as an image of this club. Now, I don't know how each of you heard about this club in the first place, but perhaps it was from our Facebook page, which is something else that Melanie's taken on to do. And I was having a look. There's been 1,900 views of Melanie's request that people come to this meeting today. Right? I just don't believe it. It's gone, Toastmasters has absolutely gone viral with the way that whatever she's doing to promote it. Now, that's a skill that Melanie is actually using in her own development of a career that she's picked up and experimented with in Toastmasters. And that's very much what the Toastmasters program is about. In exactly the same way as we saw a couple of weeks ago that Carolyn wanted to give a presentation at work, so she came here and did a dry run of it, got some feedback, adapted the feedback into the presentation, and she tells me it was an absolute great presentation when she gave it at work. And that's one of the other advantages of having a Toastmasters group. To speak, Carolyn has volunteered to be president, and really what the president does is sets a scene, sets a standard, and I think everyone here would agree that she would certainly be the sort of person that would make a great president of the club. But she needs some people to help her out. The education vice president is the person that, when the new member arrives, hopefully has a yarn to them, says, look, when you're ready to give a speech, let me know. Here's the outline of it. And hopefully we hear back within a couple of weeks, but there's an ongoing conversation. We've now got 3 people in the club that there are blanks in the advanced program that says icebreaker for the next 3 meetings, and that's the opportunity for any of the 3 of you that are here for your 2nd or 3rd visit to decide you want to do your icebreaker. Then we're ready for it. And that's the sort of programming that the Education Vice President takes place. Now, there's not a lot of work in that. If you decide that you want to go onto the website, assign yourself to a roster, to a position, you can do that simply by going onto the website. And then all I do is jumble up the names and see what jobs haven't been taken, send out an email and allocate it. So there's 1 email a week. There's not a lot of work in it, but it's a routine, it's a system, and it is pretty well systemised. So we'd like somebody to take that role on. We need a vice president of membership, somebody that gives you the membership books when they arrive, so that you come in as ready to function, so that the manual that we work from, that has the assignments in, the sort of thing that Chris is about to evaluate Punya in, this one is an advanced manual, but there is a manual with speech, using gesture, all manner of different style of speaking approach that forms the basis of being a good speaker. And then when you've done those initial 10, you reach the stage that Punya's at, where you're doing advanced manual assignments, and you can choose speeches by management, speaking humorously, motivational speaking, professional speaking. Those sort of systems are available to you, and Punya is going to talk about how that's going to change in the near future. In about 12 months' time, I think he's going to talk about the Pathways program after I've finished. So that's the role of the Education Vice President. We need a treasurer. Neil has volunteered to be the treasurer. We need a secretary, somebody that takes the minutes, keeps a record of who spoke, simply so that we can go back and say, yes, look, that education achievement's been achieved. Some people take being secretary so enthusiastically that archaeologists in 150 years' time are going to find our records and go back and say, I can't believe that there are only 15 people at that meeting. It looks so vibrant just from the account. Now, that's the way that some people take minutes. If you want to learn how to be a good secretary, this is as good a place as anywhere to be, because the secretary is the record keeper, the archivist, and also the point of correspondence for messages from the club, so that district, international send messages to the secretary, who then flicks it out among the other members. We have a sergeant at arms, somebody that sets up the venue, which we all do together, but is the person that relates to Lewis, the guy that runs the venue, makes sure that the name tags are built for people that's pretty quickly in their membership. It's those sort of techniques. They're the things that make the club work. It's not a lot of work, and there's probably a lot more work in being a member than in being a member of the executive